frisk
But it
myself.
started to
Now I know why my wife calls me a
to
dork
subside.
burger.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have an update. Let me turn on the TV. Can you grab that little thing and turn on the TV?
I don't know if it's that one.
So for those of you guys that weren't here last week, we talked about starting an Acquire Advantage program where we would see who wants to belong to it, and each one of us would pay a couple $100, and we would pool that money together and start advertising for leads and stuff like that.
It's in the middle.
You'll be in the middle there. And so we've been kind of working on it, and we've been kind of tailoring it after a lead program that I get leads from, and I'm closing business and stuff like that. So I thought I would show you, but I wanted to tell you, as we talked last week about paying a couple $100 in each where we're getting leads and whatnot, I started thinking about how I could get sponsors, like electricians and roofers and plumbers and stuff like that. And
Don't
then
hit up
sponsor,
lenders.
and then we would put that out so we get more leads so that we can, and then we would use those vendors and stuff that are sponsoring the program and stuff like that.
Yeah, that'd
So
be great.
anyway, it's gonna be really cool. And so I wanted to show you, Scott's gonna show you here, the program that I get. It's called realestateagent.com. That's who I pay money to. I think I pay $250 or something a month on that, Scott, something like that. But I pay $250 a month for that, and they send out a lead, and then agents compete for it. And I thought, man, let's just copy the same thing and do it ourselves. And so he's going to show you what that looks like and what he's been building this week. Wow, just like that. Yeah, that's pretty that's technology right there. Doesn't even have a wire like you and I would.
I know.
You and I like, where's the wire?
This is who you already work with?
Okay, so this is who I work with now. So, find the best real estate agent. So they put this out there. It's called Referral Exchange. And I told you guys in one of the roundtables, referralexchange.com is where the realtors can sign up. And some of the realtors that were here, I think it was Amanda, she signed up, but they wouldn't allow her. They have too many premium, they have enough premium people, so they won't let anybody be payers into this, because I guess if you have a premium thing, you get more leads or whatever. So they have free, you can sign up for free, but your profile doesn't show up very often or something like that, right? So this isn't, if you wanted to join this, you probably can't because they have enough premium people already. But this is what their website looks like. So people come to realestateagent.com, and they do that through various things like Facebook, Google Ads, Nextdoor, all the different things that they have advertising. And then people come in, they click on this. So when you click on Find an Agent, click on Find an Agent. It says I'm buying a home, I'm selling my home, I'm buying and selling, right? And you go in and you fill out a form. So we're going to duplicate this, and we don't want to go down and see what else there is. So it's just basically the site that's got testimonials and whatnot. Grab a chair, Zane.
Cool.
Yeah, grab him a chair, Rory.
I'll be leaving in just a minute. You can probably.
That's okay.
I'll stand over there. Because I'm gonna be leaving. Yeah.
So this is what that site looks like. So I'll show you what Scott's creating for us. It looks pretty much the same. Talk to an agent. You go down, I'm buying, I'm selling, right? So, the realestateagent.com, they're doing that on a national scale. They're spending millions of dollars and stuff like that, getting leads. But we can do it locally. We just want local people that are wanting to buy and sell. And so if we pooled our dollars together, you know, if there was 10 people that wanted to pay $200 and we had $2,000 a month going out towards harnessing people in, and if we get sponsors that are sponsoring and we're harnessing people in, I don't see how we can't get business out of it, because we're getting business out of the other one. And yeah, so anyway, that's what we're working on.
Nice.
Yep.
Okay?
And these are bottom of the funnel people. So you're talking about funnel, like where they come from. You got people that are like just searching and stuff like that. So like Zillow and Realtor.com, and then like your personal websites. I mean, they're just capturing people that are looking at properties. And so most of those people are just window shoppers, you know. And so they're going to waste your time. They're top of the funnel. Like they might do something. Maybe
3 years.
maybe
Yeah.
in 3 years, you know,
You
there's
have to
window
work at it.
shopping. But these people that come from referral exchange, and then what we're trying to do, they're at the bottom of the funnel because we're not showing them houses and then capturing their information. We're saying, do you want to talk to an agent? So those people are much more likely to do
Right.
something because
They're responding to
More
the talk to
qualified.
an agent versus show me a 3-bedroom house.
right.
Right, exactly. And then, like, just show, can you go to referralexchange.com and just kind of show what that looks like, their back end? And I don't know what kind of back end. We're going to use Bold Trails.
I don't know if I can get in there.
So like this is the back end of that site that I belong to. It's the realestateagent.com thing. That's the back end. But if you look at how many leads they've sent me, 142 leads.
Plus
And if-
68.
I've closed 3. I've archived 68 that somebody else got, because there's a lot of people competing for these. But you know, I've closed 3. But like if you look at the Jeffrey Barnhart, click on that guy and see what it says.
Wait a minute.
You see the big
That's my
yellow,
cousin.
you see the big yellow box up there? 30% I gotta give these guys. Isn't that crazy? So, I am paying them, I don't even know, it's like $290 a month or something like that. And then,
Prospects 3 deals.
so they take all of our money and then I do the 30%. Now that's the seller. Most of them are 35%. Some of them are, grab your chair, Lori.
I can get a chair.
Some of them are 35% or whatnot. We were thinking about doing the same type of thing where the Acquire Advantage program would have a 25% referral fee, because we could take that 25% and that would help us purchase, like maybe somebody who has to run this thing, like an advertising person, or it can help us do events, or it can help us have a billboard, or can help us have radio spots or whatever, right? So the more we do out there, instead of just $2,000 a month online or whatever, the more we can bring in, the more we can increase our market share in Colorado Springs, if that makes sense. But it's all of us pooling together doing it, you know? So we'll give you more about this in the next week or two, because we really want to roll this out, because it'll be awesome with whoever wants to join. Not everybody has to, but whoever wants to can. Okay?
Are you guys doing all the SEO and everything?
We're not gonna do any SEO.
Yeah, no SEO, but just advertising, like Google advertising, Facebook, Nextdoor, wherever we can throw it out. And then eventually with these 25%, then we'll expand to, like, you know, radio and all that stuff. Just wherever we can get the best leads and the best return. But only the people that pull in, you know, will get those leads that are coming out.
We've done SEO in the past, and it just costs millions of dollars, and we gotta constantly spend millions of dollars to stay up at the top, and you just can't. You just gotta make your site relevant, and it will just go up there organically. Yeah.
So is this a real person? This Jeffrey? It's been.
Yeah, I have a meeting with them on Monday. Yep.
Because you're paying 30%, he's only got one F in there. You're keeping
Yeah.
another F.
I was just that's exactly right. I'm thinking he's a catfish because he spelled Jeffrey with one F and no E.
So, Rob, share your location when you go on Monday, just so we can.
That's
Find
funny.
you.
We'll make sure you're safe,
Please let someone know where you are.
That's funny. Yeah, that is funny. Okay, I think that's it for that one. Yep, I think that's it. Okay?
Some free and clear land that he's selling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's selling Dave's house.
Yeah. I'm telling my wife, what do you mean you have an agent?
He gave you a better deal.
Okay, then, introductions here. Zane,
Hi.
I say,
he just passed his test yesterday, right?
Nice.
Yeah.
He's gonna kill it.
Really? Nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
I met with Rob 31 days ago, and we decided I was going to do this, and so I got the test, studied, and did it.
there you go.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Nice.
So now I don't know what I don't know, so that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
Right, he sent me a list of here's what I need to learn. Well, here's what I want to do. And I was like, oh wow, that's all awesome. Like, how do I want to call these 1,000 people on my phone, what do I need to say, blah, 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 which I'm like, oh, that's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And then he says, I need to know what I don't know.
Just wait like 20 years and you'll figure it
Okay.
out.
So any advice right now would help him.
Well, I've been in the business for 23 years, and I am absolutely lost.
That's reassuring.
That's great information.
Yeah.
I'm a title and escrow guy, and so maybe we should get together and have coffee, and I can give you the runaround of what you're gonna do.
Right.
Right.
And then of course Rick Ward, you know
Yeah.
Rick, you know, the lender. Well, do you know, I don't think everybody was here. Let's go around.
Yeah.
I'm Scott.
No, Scott, yeah.
Daniel.
Oh God, that's stupid. All these years, I mean, come on, you're wrong.
I'm Susan Vital. I do commercial real estate, so if you have anybody that's interested in commercial, you don't have to waste your time. That's right.
That's right. Refer to her and you get a referral fee.
Yep. Eventually. That's a dig at Scott.
I'm Daniel.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we met
Yeah.
once before. Been licensed now 4 years. Blessed to still be standing.
That's right.
You know, and I do a lot of other things with like business consulting, nonprofit work, and you know, just your average, you know, guy who goes above and beyond for all my clients. That's it.
Welcome, I'm Gina. I've been doing it a long time too. I know enough to be dangerous.
I'm Dave.
Yeah, Dave.
And I forgot more about real estate than I know. However that works.
You do brain dumps, periodic brain dumps, right?
I'm Jason. I've been a lender since 2001, and I got a real estate license a couple years ago. So all I do now is write contracts and cancel them.
Okay.
That is great.
Just so you know, that's not a great business plan.
Yeah, that is not
Yeah, that's one
sustainable.
of those things you need to know. Don't do that.
Constantly getting things canceled. It
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I've canceled more than I've written.
Or given money away.
Or than I've closed.
That's not
I'd rather do
good.
that.
He's altruistic.
Thank you.
I'm a title and
Actually.
escrow guy, 35 years.
Okay.
Rory Escoto.
Best title company in Colorado Springs.
I'll be over there tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
Are you? Okay.
I'm Charles. I've been doing it for 3 years, and it'll be the dumbest, smartest thing you've ever done.
Okay. Cool.
That's right.
That's actually.
And now look at his arm.
Look at his arm. Those are the houses.
Everything he sells, he puts on
Do you
his...
really?
You should see his ass.
Prefer not. Not with that beard.
I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah. 20, 30 years.
So, my history is 3 years in the car industry. Car industry. So I was a sales director at Toyota of Colorado Springs.
Okay.
So I had 3 years there, and coming out of that.
Which one is that?
That's the one that's down south in Motor City.
Oh, so you
yeah.
know
Yep.
Jeff
So I
Patterson?
was one of the guys running the department, and just it was time to move on.
Do you know Jeff Patterson?
Yes, very well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a friend of ours.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
He's the sales manager there.
He's gonna be the one that goes, what will it take you to buy this house today?
I will not be doing that. I will not be doing that. But I do have like 500 people on my phone that I've sold a car to in the last 3 years. So I'm trying to develop a plan to reach out to those people.
Great. See, when I used to work in TV news before this, and all my friends in TV they're poor because they work in TV. You know, TV people. You know what they call? You know what TV people call teachers?
Rich.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah.
You'd be like me though. The last car I bought, his wife was a realtor. I'm like, I mean, of all the things, like you should be able to make a connection with your car
That's
salesman.
a great start for a database.
Okay,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
give him some suggestions. What do you think he should do? How do I
reach out to those 500 people? What would you do?
Do you need a garage for that car?
Yeah.
This house, the house is free, but the garage is $550,000. Yeah, you just want to try and reach out to them. Phone calls, emails. I do monthly mailers.
The thing I was most considering right now is I was going to do the green screen room and make a 30-second video that I can literally just send.
Text. Send it
In a text form, because I don't want to text them because ignore it. If I send them a video, the person I sold to in the first year, right, and remember my face, my thought is if they trust me to do a car deal with them, I mean, house is just the next biggest thing. You know, maybe a boat, then a house, but
Right.
I feel like, yeah.
Do you have their emails?
No, that's property of the dealership. So I just have phone numbers.
Oh, yeah.
But he can
That's
text.
And
awesome.
names.
You can test.
I have names and phone
phone
numbers because
numbers.
I would often, just like you guys, like it comes in through the website, and then
Yeah.
you end up getting them in the phone because it's just easier.
Yeah.
That ends up happening a lot of times. So I've got a number of people. I figure, what if 1% of them?
We need to create.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Like, do I need 1% of the people to say yes, Zane, I want to work with you again in a different industry?
And then I guess Scott. I mean, I'm sure you've told him to put him in Bold Trail, and then
I don't even know what that is.
Well-
Like I'm literally. He's getting my
really
email set up yesterday. Like that's how new I am.
I think the first call that you make is to those people and just let them know that you've changed industries, right? And let
Do
them
you
know
have
what you
addresses?
do now.
Yeah, that's all in the CRM at the store. The
You'd be able to
dealership.
find
we
it.
could
But
bring
we
in-
can, there's ways
We'll
to
show you. I can show you.
to fix your database. Yeah, it sounds like you need some fixing of your database.
Yeah.
Should maybe you'd say something along the lines of, oh, I've been dabbling in real estate for a few years now and just decided to jump over and do it full time versus like I just got my license. you
Yeah,
know?
don't. Sell the brokerage
Yeah.
too. Sell,
Yeah.
Yep.
Would you, I always tell people if you don't ASK, you don't GET. But I was wondering about.
Oh, okay.
I was wondering about him calling and thinking, do you say, I switched industries, I just wanted to let you know, appreciate you guys for buying a car. Do you know anybody, who do you know that needs to invest or buy a home or whatever? And they'll have to rack through their database right away and go, oh, my brother-in-law just got married. I think he might need to, something like that. How could you not find a single person calling 500 people?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
Right?
what I'm-
So do you think he should ask them that question, like, who do you know?
That as
Instead
well.
of like, are you ready to buy
Did
or
we
something?
learn nothing? It's who should I be talking to?
Yes.
Right, Rick?
Right, exactly.
Is it a text? Is it a phone call? Is it a video text? I got
And
the
a
idea
phone
from your
call.
your
Yeah.
little lesson.
I would say a phone call with all of that.
I would
stuff
send a
first.
video text and do the follow-up call.
Yes, that's exactly what I would do.
Knock on their door.
I don't know where they all
Their
live.
address.
But
We
you
got-
be
we can.
able to. I
we
mean,
can
if
find
they,
them.
chances are they own a home.
Just use forewarn.
Use forewarn, which is
I didn't even know that these things. Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna teach.
I'm like now.
Yeah.
I'm starting to drown in the conversation.
You
I
lost
wouldn't do
it.
any
He
of
shut
that. I
down.
would pick up the phone, I'd send a video text and make the calls.
Yeah.
That's what I would
Same
do.
day.
I would not
Same
do
day?
a bunch of research.
Same day, you think, or
No,
the
no,
next
no.
day?
Couple
Send
days
the video
later.
text, couple days, then
So
follow up.
everybody with last name ABC send the video. Then the next day DCE and call
A
ABC.
couple days later.
The only homework I would do on my date on those 500, did any of them buy more than one car? And
A
did any of them
few.
refer a client to you?
Okay,
Maybe call
smaller
them first, but outside of that,
right.
Because that's going to matter for them getting pre-qualled and all of that stuff. He's giving you.
well, that or just they're more likely to, you know what?
More
They've
work.
already sent you a referral to sit buy a car.
There's
then I
some
send you a
relationship
referral.
built. Okay, so start with.
Now they're listening for houses, not cars.
yeah.
Right.
Okay.
But if they have a $1,500 car payment,
Yeah.
they're not-
Tell them, first thing you do is tell them to sell
Yeah,
that
that
car you
all
sold.
plays
If I,
Yeah.
there's a couple people who can afford multiple $1,500
I was gonna say,
payments.
don't-
There's plenty of things, yeah.
Right, yeah.
I wonder, so you already like have a relationship with them, and then like when you reach out, especially with new leads, and everybody does it differently, but like providing that thing of value is a big thing, because then it's not just I'm reaching out to bother you. It's like, oh, here's something that might be valuable. So like, if you had their email, that would be great, because I have a template for market updates, which really helps every couple of weeks. But I'm thinking for text, maybe like either like a one slide. A video might be a little bit complicated, but like a one slide of kind of like just what's going on in the market, and starting off with like data, just like something of value. So that way, like let's say you text it to them, they don't answer, then 3 or 4 days later you can call them and you have something to talk about. Like, oh hey, did you get my market update? Like, what do you think about it? Like that way you have something to talk about, other than use me as a realtor.
But I think you have to tell them first that you switched.
Yeah,
Because they'll
both.
tell you
Yeah, at the
from
same time.
bought
Yeah,
your
yeah.
car,
What's the connection, yeah.
If you send them a market update, they're gonna go, wow, those cars are getting
Right.
expensive.
Yeah, so like tying it into like the same thing. Yeah.
And like leading into like what your house value, because that's what it's going to take you to, right? Is talking to them about what they think the value of their house is or whatever it is. So I have a bunch of like template scripts and stuff that you can use to email out or to text out that can get the conversation started. Yeah, I have a bunch of that stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
I do
That's cool.
do a giveaway. That's some of my buddies at an old mortgage company. That's what they did. They give away an iPad every month or something, and it was just a big database grab, and they would send it out and hey, update your database information.
First person that refers me gets an iPad.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, really?
Right.
If I close,
Yeah.
exactly.
But that way you can capture
Oh, you added that last
whether
one.
they're home on get their email.
They're expensive,
address.
those iPads.
I'd start the same thing.
Yeah.
$1,500 or
Video, then a
Yeah.
phone call.
15.
Video phone call, okay.
Both
That's
of those.
true.
I think
Yeah.
if you jump in, like what you just heard about buying leads and all of that stuff, if you can jump in and kind of do the old school style way of prospecting your business, you'll get ahead of the game as well.
Get
So-
people pre-approved.
You call a lot. That's your main primary business. What do you think you should do?
See, commercial people, we don't do video stuff.
Yeah.
It's beneath us. No, I don't know why. Anyway, it's not. And so I think it's intriguing, the video text. I guess what I would do is be really, I would write some stuff down until you kind of got the hang of it, and just kind of rehearse it
Okay.
so it sounds normal. But I would just say, you really enjoy doing what you did previously, or, feel like you've kind of,
Maybe step up.
yeah. You
Yeah,
want
right.
another challenge. It's it's something that you're always interested in, and everybody needs a house like they do a car, but this is much more,
Just your quality of life. Or I don't know, something.
Yeah.
it's more of a challenge than selling. A house is harder to sell than a car. So I guess I would just kind of make sure I was really positive, 100%.
Yeah.
But and just it's really a numbers game. Like in commercial, we had like the statistics. So out of every 100 calls you make, you'll get 10 people saying they're interested, and then maybe one of them will do something. So you've got it's a low odds, success. So 1%.
I'm familiar with that. With
Yeah.
30%, you were killing it in the car industry. So
Yeah, you don't get 30% return on that kind of a way of generating business, but you still got to do it. I mean, I have just so many calls I've done, but then you have to follow up.
Yeah.
So you have to have a really good way of establishing your database.
yeah, well, those are things I'm
Yeah,
chatting with these
we're
two guys
gonna
about
do
today.
that,
And
and
she's
everything.
right about follow-up. That follow-up is the one thing that kills all of our businesses. All of us.
Yeah, all of
of
us.
us. Even in title, all of it is failing to follow up. Like if you set up a good structure of how you're going to follow up, that will help you immensely.
I think one of the other things that they used to say is it's better to hit one person 10 times than 10 people one time. So basically,
Yeah.
it's the same.
Okay.
Although if someone hit me 10
Wow.
times, I'd probably punch them in the face.
If they hit me 10 times, I'm going, Uncle,
Yeah.
no more.
I'm sorry, I'm changing my number.
Well, then that's when you start smelling
But
the
no, but there is some
commission
wisdom
breath.
to that. Especially if they go, well, I'm kind of busy right now, but Well, when's a good time? And then do it exactly when they tell you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just today, as a matter of fact, I've been calling this guy for 6 months, and finally today I'm showing him the property. I mean, it's just been like, come on, dude.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I just had surgery this week. I'm like, that's your excuse?
Yeah, exactly.
But you know, you just have to keep staying positive, positive. You know that by
Whatever
being
you
a
can do to
salesperson.
shorten like the learning curve on that, you know.
How about
Honestly,
like,
it's a couple things that I'm hearing right now. You're walking in with a sphere of 500 people,
that's huge.
right?
It's huge.
And I don't want you to forget that, you know, not just the people that you sold cars to, but the people that you worked with in the past, your friends, your family.
People you
You know,
didn't
those
sell cars to.
connections,
Except
the
for Patterson.
relationship. Look at those relationships in your life that are really high trust.
Yeah.
You know, because those transactions are going to go a lot smoother than ones where you have low trust. And I mean, you're going to get your footing after you follow up so many times, after you do so many transactions. You're going to find how you like to follow up with people, and then you'll eventually craft that into something bigger. But step one, don't forget, don't just reach out to those clients. Reach out to your coworkers, reach out to your friends, your family.
Absolutely.
And then you'll refine your process as you go. So don't stress too much about getting it perfect.
Cool.
Neighbors are good too,
Mm-hmm.
definitely. And
Yeah.
people you meet in elevators.
Not
No,
my
like pretty much
neighbor.
anybody that you talk to. It's like, hey, I'm just breaking into a new career. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, every single person needs a place to live.
Yeah, and like
Right.
what Daniel said, this is a game of building trust with people, right? So keep at that part, because that's where it is. Like that's where all the phone calls happen. You know, you get the connection, you get the lead, you make an connect, or you reach out to them, and then there's that whole in between before you get to the deal, right? So stay in that. Don't get
Sounds like the message
discouraged.
maybe should be less of, are you ready to work with me? It's like, do you know who's ready to work with me?
Absolutely.
That is
Yes,
yes.
that's exactly
Yeah.
right.
That way I'm not
Then
putting
they're
pressure
they're
on
not-
them.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
there's also the implied, well, actually me, like if they want to.
Exactly.
Right, so I don't have to ask that.
Yes,
That's
Yeah.
a great.
exactly.
Yeah.
A roundabout way.
Right.
Google Northwestern Mutual sales, and that is exactly how they teach all their.
Well, that's the Brian Buffini
Yeah.
program, the mayor
It's all the
campaign.
I'm thinking,
If you
I'm
knew
thinking he should
someone that
say
was looking
something
to buy
like,
or sell a home, would you send them to me?
Yeah.
It's like, if I was
Yeah.
to run for mayor, would you vote for me?
Yeah.
right, I think that I would love to, I like to have humor in there where I could say something like, you know, if you do know somebody, I could still get them an awesome stereo system in the house, a great sunroof, you know, whatever you guys used to sell,
Yeah.
whatever you sell, you know, it would just be $500,000, you know, so I would make something up.
Don't worry, we'll
Make
definitely,
them laugh.
we'll definitely check the oil before we buy.
And they
it.
don't have to drive it off the lot. You know, you can live it. This car will have 5,000 square feet or something like that.
I think,
Start
I
talking
think
to
the
your
first
pickleball
call
people.
is not funny. I'm sorry to, but
That's exactly
but, you
right.
know, like the first contact,
follow-up.
because you don't know who you might kind of know them, but you don't really know them. And if you get some, you
My
know-
relations with those 500 people vary from like
Right.
they did a transaction to like they
Just a
visited
name.
multiple times. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it,
if
var-
they
it
know
varies
you-
in my
When they hear
relationship.
your voice, they're going to remember you.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
And some of them also knew me when I wasn't in the role. I went from salesperson to sales manager to sales director, so my relationship with them varies across the spectrum
Oh,
of
that's
my role in the store.
Excellent.
good.
That's
Awesome.
really good. Sounds like you're ahead of the game.
I've been doing some thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
With your database, you're going to want to get their addresses and where they live.
How do I do that?
We have a
So
system.
kind of piggybacking off of Charles and adding value, what you could do on the call is you could, if they don't want to do anything, still add value in what you could do through Bold Trail, the CRM that we have.
Okay.
You can do kind of like a Zestimate kind of thing that gives them an automated value of their house.
Oh.
And so what you could
Give
say
them
is
something to think
you
about.
can say, hey, you know, I know you don't want to work with me, you don't know anybody, but can I send you a valuation of your house so at least you know, and then if they're like, yeah, sure, okay, great, what's your email? Bam, now you have their email. You know, what's your
yeah.
address? I need your address so I can send it to you.
But
now
if-
you have their address, phone number, email address.
In one of the
everything.
follow-ups. they
Yes.
were talking
You can do it in the
There's,
follow-up or the initial,
Because
whatever.
it's going to lead you
but-
into doing like a CMA for them. It's going to lead
Okay.
you into providing them more value.
It's like any sales pitch. When a window guy comes in or a pots and pans guy, they say, "Can I come in and just practice? I'm new. Can I practice my spiel? I'm with this new company."
Yeah. Can I sharpen your
And-
knives?
That's right. And they come in. They come in.
Have you
they
seen that guy
fine.
who's the landscaping company? He says, "I'm not here. I just want to
Yeah.
fix your property for my YouTube channel."
Yes.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that
they
guy's
tried to
great.
arrest him like not too long ago.
So after a few times of talking to him, say, "Hey, you know, I'm in training with getting, you know, Zestimate, or can I give you an analysis of your house? I'm practicing more analysis or whatever." And they'll be like, "Yeah, here's my email." Yeah, then you'd really have, then
But that on the CRM, it sends it to them every month. So it's like
I learned how to use
it's
that.
a constant thing
Yeah,
that
you're gonna
will
learn.
send it to them every month. So it's like a touching point,
Lot
but you're
of
not
cool
really
ideas.
touching them, but it keeps your
And they
face
stay in
of
front.
them.
It stays in front of their mind because there's a dollar value up
Right.
there. That they
Right,
see.
exactly.
Well, I'm familiar with CRMs because
My
the store
Croatia
had that, and
book.
so
Yeah,
I
right,
could track
yeah.
customers.
All right,
Typically,
see ya.
the leads came in, you could send template emails or text message, phone calls,
Yeah.
Right.
click to call. You guys have some system like that.
Yeah,
You click on the and
Yeah,
it records
yeah,
a call.
yeah.
Okay, so I know how to use a CRM.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You could
But-
also
Those are
role
just
play. You can also
real estate
role play
side.
with,
Yeah, yeah.
with ChatGPT as well
Oh, I
as a
love
real
AI.
estate agent. You can role play with ChatGPT and ask it questions. Tell them that you're a real estate agent,
Ooh, that's
and
interesting.
it'll go back and forth with you as well.
Scary.
Oh, that's
But
scary.
yeah, it is.
Do you guys not use AI? Like I use it for
Oh,
yeah, we use it for
everything in my
everything.
life.
Oh my goodness, I don't use it at all.
I don't either.
Guys,
You're way behind.
I'm
I-
always
Yeah,
full.
absolutely.
I will learn about a subject in a fifth of the time.
I use it to write my email, all kinds of
It did
stuff.
help me with my trip to Ireland last year.
Really?
I passed the exam because of AI, not because of the I don't for real.
Dublin.
Yeah. If I didn't understand the question, I just asked,
Are you
explain this to me, and it did.
And I said,
It,
no, I
you know,
want to
even with
see
your, if you
this,
play
this,
pickleball,
I do. That's where I
too,
came from. Yeah.
There's a
and we
lot
were
of
pretty close to it. We didn't
industry
follow it as
people.
much.
There's
You
people
could've
that
asked
are
me
going to
every
buy
time.
and sell
Well,
homes
actually,
there, so.
it's funny you bring up the
Fast,
pickleball
isn't it?
thing.
No.
You might, I don't know.
Great.
So
Scotland.
I have a
Scotland.
hookup with a new facility opened up in town. It's $500 a month to hang a banner, and it's $500 to sponsor a tournament. So I'm already thinking about a pickleball facility
Good
sponsorship.
information too for all of us.
Well, I was going to talk to you guys about that today.
Yeah,
I don't have the money
That's
to make that regular, but
Branding is.
yeah.
I think one
We
other
got our
thing.
You
shirt
get some
in
closings
time for the
first.
game.
Okay,
Yeah.
well,
Once you get some
yeah.
closings, then you know,
I don't
just like any
think
business,
that-
you want to put like 20% aside
For
your
to
marketing,
reinvest.
yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
I think one
To
other
me, the
really
only
kind
rule
of
they have
cool
are
thing is
nice.
that you're in a company that has
Yeah.
a lot of
And
people
they showed 'em.
and a lot of
Game
history. And Rob's been doing this a really long time, and you can kind of use that also. Say, I'm really excited to be in this company. I really feel like I'm lucky to be here because we have this many brokers.
We're local. And,
Yeah, and
all
we
that kind of
and
stuff.
we focused on doing things with integrity, blah blah blah, And if we ever get together, I'd love for you to meet my manager, whatever it is,
Yeah.
just to kind of bring them into the family,
So, and you can even say,
Yeah, for sure.
because I'm sure down there you had a bunch of
There's lots of
military.
sound.
Oh, so many.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
I mean, I was in the
Right,
military,
well,
so
you
you could say you
knowledge in
were
your time,
veteran,
right?
operated, or whatever.
You're military too?
You
No,
know,
no. So many customers came from. It was right by the
To
base.
the right
Yeah,
next
'cause
to
that-
it.
so that'll maybe bring you some stuff.
I want to ask, how'd you find Rob? How'd you find us?
So Doug Marsh, you guys know Doug Marsh?
I know Doug.
He is my brother-in-law's father-in-law. He's basically family, but that's the connection. And he was our realtor, and when I left the car industry, I talked about like what should I do, and after talking to people in my life, they're like, I think real estate would work for me. I'm like, who do I talk to? And then Doug referred me to him, and then I got connected with these guys.
Dude, you
Yeah.
got so lucky.
That's a
Yeah.
good.
I continue to feel pretty darn blessed every turn I take. It gets better and better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Could've
he
been Karen
shares his scheme, the way that he does things. He shares those with the whole group. Like,
So what you
And we all
lack,
do. We all
Yeah.
collaborate. So
Yeah.
it's really cool.
what you lack in longevity, you make up for with depth of the company that you're in.
Mhm.
So I mean that's sort of like, because you can't. I mean, there's no getting around. You're brand new.
Right.
Right.
So you gotta.
Well, part of my
kinda-
pitch was I was going to be. I don't know if it's common to not charge as much when you're new, but I was going to say I cost new, but I have the tenacity of someone who needs to prove themselves with the experience that someone like that. So my pitch was going to be, you get him for the price of me. So,
There you go.
That could be, or I would say,
yeah.
or I would say,
Yeah, I don't know I don't know if I should be offering it
the
right
company doesn't allow me to take less than X.
Well, here's what I say.
Right?
Blame it
But
on
you're
them.
gonna get
Yeah.
experience
Yeah.
in the whole thing.
I'm not in a position to do that. When people ask me for a
Discount.
discount,
Oh,
well, I'm not
sure.
in a position to do that because
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I have to pay.
Oh, I'm familiar with
Same
telling people
price
no.
for gas.
At least I don't have to learn that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you have splits, right?
But,
You have
so
splits with the company.
buyers,
muscle, so
you
I
can
told them
explain
no
that to
more.
them over and over if you charge them less.
No
They
splits.
don't get it.
Oh,
So like,
that's
so
right.
like last year I did an
He's got a
experiment.
straight
I
up,
did 2%
like,
for
X
everybody,
dollars
right?
per transaction.
And
Which is lower than the 3% maximum.
So I had 2% for everybody, and I was like, oh, they're gonna be like, oh, this is such a great deal. They're saving so much money, and like I had clients that like, you know, like one of them, like I did lower the commission to make sure that they got concessions because we were reaching kind of a point where we needed more, couldn't get it done, but I was charging less, so that freed up $5,000. So I went back to my buyers and I was like, listen, you know, so I charged it less. This is earlier when I was charging them 3%, and I dropped it to 2%. And so that's how we came up with the extra $5,000 to get
Sure,
the deal done.
yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, you didn't have to do that." And so like I did for everybody last year, and like they just don't appreciate it. They don't understand it because the
Right,
seller's
it's
paying.
crazy.
They don't.
And the sellers always think that they're paying. The reality is, it's both, right? So you're selling your house, you know, it's an unrealized gain, right? And then the buyer's the one bringing the money. Not only are, in a way, the buyer's paying for it, they're also financing and paying the interest on it,
Yeah.
on everything, right?
You're
So
not
there's-
you're not a discount broker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you're a broker.
Yeah.
You're worth your
Yeah.
weight, you're worth
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
penny.
You
And
may
it's
not
funny.
feel it yet, but
And what
Yeah.
you'll find is
You can't
the
act as
clients
if
that
you become.
demand a lower rate
Yeah.
are the ones that expect. So
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
you're gonna have
Exactly.
problems.
yeah,
You're
hey, I
working
want
with it for like
50% off on that Toyota, but I want it to run like a Lexus,
And they kind of do.
right?
I hear you.
Don't
Yeah.
they?
And if people are like, I'm not paying more than this, I'm like,
Sounds like
oh.
sales, no matter what industry, and people are the same.
It's
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
exactly-
Because
I don't
you
know
just
that
spoke
wanna
about,
go
I know
through
all,
that.
I know
That's
that
right.
customer.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like Charles said,
psychology too.
I would take money off and they wouldn't appreciate it.
Right.
Right?
So
That's
don't.
right.
You lose $5,000 out of your pocket and they don't appreciate it. And that's why I made my $1,000 chips
Uh-huh.
so that I could hand them 5,000 in chips so they would know that's my
It's
money.
tangible.
I'm
Yeah.
giving you $5,000.
On,
And they
on that note, I think I'm doing playing cards. I have it designed and everything.
playing cards.
Mhm.
Oh, show them your new card.
Yeah, I've really.
new cards.
Okay.
I could have
Oh,
stolen-
very good. Yeah. Yeah. No, he says steal. I love it.
Oh wait,
He's doing playing
do you
cards.
play poker?
I do. I play hearts.
But
That's
isn't
so
that
great.
cool? He's gonna do a deck of cards.
So,
and
I was gonna say
all
something
that
like this,
cool.
of like say, you know, when we're doing a transaction, you got a bunch of cards. Some you put on the table, some you keep close to your chest. Well, with my card, you'll have the best hand, right? Something like
there you
that.
go.
Something like that, you know.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, though, too, you don't want to be too pitchy with them.
Yeah,
you
no,
just want to
yeah.
be
Gimmicky is-
yourself.
yeah.
Like that's what everybody wants to see is your human side.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So like with videos and all that stuff, just do it.
Okay.
Just
Yeah.
get them out there.
I would say it's almost better to use your pitch as a joke.
Yeah.
You go after
Right.
you land them and stuff. You want
I
to hear my
agree.
pitch? Oh, all right.
Yeah, there you
Oh,
go.
because it will be.
Afterward.
That one can be cringy and they'll like it. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
But I always
Okay.
knew, they keep saying, how long have you been in the business? I go, several. Hang on one second, my phone just turned
Several days.
So if you have a deck of cards, right?
Yeah.
And it's got all the kings, queens,
Yeah.
and the twos and threes. Well, you know, normally when you go pick a card and you have them spread out and they can't see the face of it, you would turn it over and you would fan out your card stack and they would pick a card like a 2 or a king or whatever, and then your card would be on the other side. Does that make sense?
yeah.
Put your face on all the
Yeah, because
kings
you're the
and-
card
Yeah.
trick master.
All of them are.
Right, you say pick a card, they're picking their number or their favorite card, but then
might
they
be
look
major.
at it and you're like, these are my business cards. I think that's cool.
That is cool.
That is
I just want to be
cool.
memorable because I watched him hand the poker chip to just like a maintenance guy at one of his rental properties, and he said, "Here's my card," and the guy looked at it and did like a double take, and I was like, "That guy's gonna remember."
Yep.
That A guy gave him a poker chip. He may not remember his name. He may not remember where he put the poker chip. he's gonna remember that guy handed me that poker chip.
He may not buy a house, he might not,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Right.
You never know.
might know
There's a lot
somebody,
to being
though.
a realtor. There really is, and I think maybe if you break it down into segments, like the first part of it, because once he gets somebody that says, "Yeah, I'd love to work with you," or "will value my property," well, then what's the next step? You know what I
Right,
mean?
yeah.
So like,
Well, yeah. If you were to ask me what's the meet and greet to close on a car transaction, I can tell you guys what
Right.
it is. I do not know what the steps are.
and you'll learn
the
it.
same.
What?
Probably the same.
Probably.
Yeah, well, I guess I mean like I knew exactly when the right moment was to tell them to do a credit application after I asked the right questions. You know, like I didn't do it too early, can't do it too late. I knew this is when you do that.
Yeah.
I
Right.
have no idea
Same, yeah.
when
You'll
you
get
introduce apparently pre-approval lending comes earlier in the
Yeah.
process than in the car transaction. You never did lending until they identify what car they wanted.
Wow, that's
In the
interesting.
invert, it sounds like in this, you like, do you have a pre-approval? Now we can look at houses. That is
Yeah.
the opposite
Or
of the car.
Yeah.
you might want to, sometimes to land them, it's like through an internet lead or whatever, they might say, hey, can you show me a house? You show them the house. And then before you go on the tour, you say, we need to talk to a lender. And here's what I use when they say, well, I go, look, you don't want to test drive a Cadillac if all you can afford is a citation.
That's right.
I'm old. I'm old.
That's
I'm
yes.
old. Chevy citation, yeah. Yeah, so, for those of you that don't know, Chevy Citation was a POS.
Yes.
But,
Ford Fiesta.
Yeah, that's like you never see those.
or how about this? A Cadillac, and all you can afford is a Yugo.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
There
I
you
lost
go.
a client with that exact.
Oh
stuff.
gosh, that whole review situation.
I basically said, look, we need to get you pre-approved because we don't want to go look at Mercedes when you can afford a Toyota.
Right.
Right? And because it's hard to come
Toyotas have
back
great
after
resale
you've looked
value.
at Mercedes.
That's right.
Then,
Came from Toyota, yeah.
they get pre-approved and it was for less. Like they were looking
Yeah.
at 500, they were
Right.
approved for 350.
And now the
so I said, you
350
guys
looks
gonna
like
need a
dog.
townhome, blah, blah. So I set them up and they call and go, hey, we found some townhomes, we need to look at them. And I'm like, oh, today, crap, I got stuff going on. So I said, I'm gonna send one of my agents and they're gonna show you. So they go out all day and they look at townhomes. The agent comes back and goes, I connected with those people, let me keep working with them.
Yeah.
We love each other. And so I said, oh, okay, great, do it, right? And we'll split the transaction. And she sells the house. Well, she drove a Mercedes, okay? So when we go to get a review, they tell Scott, I will never give Rob a review. He basically kicked us to the curb when he told us we don't want to look at Mercedes if we could
afford
only afford a
Toyota.
Toyota. And when they found out that we only could afford a Toyota,
He bailed.
he sent us a girl that drove a Mercedes.
Ew, girls are gross.
Wow.
And they would not give
You know what? That's
a review.
that's somebody looking for a problem though. They were gonna find a problem.
Yeah.
They were gonna find a problem.
That is so
Yeah.
horrible. I felt
Yeah.
so bad, you guys.
Wow.
Like, she said we connected, right? But
Yeah.
they were mad at me.
That's
That's so
that
unbelievable.
follow-up piece of like, okay, so now this is my agent, right? That's probably what they wanted. Was you just to like?
Yeah, but they're still thinking, oh, I see what he did.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
got-
And it's not
now that we don't
necessarily what
qualify
happened.
for the Mercedes,
Yeah,
he
right.
sends us someone else.
I don't make any analogies
Wow.
about cars, but
That's
I,
Rob, that's horrible. You
but
should
I
have
do tell them that let's make sure that you're in your buying power. Let's make sure you walk into this confidently.
That's safer.
Yeah.
Safer to do that.
That's
It's
Yeah,
just so
you're
backwards.
wording.
Our whole mission was to get them in love with the car, and we'll figure out the lending later.
Oh, yeah.
That was literally the message.
Bankruptcy, no problem.
Yeah.
You know, divorce, no problem.
I got good at it, guys. I got really good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
pay $49.9 and pay $49 and the payment on the window.
Oh my God.
Just make a commitment to time. It's gonna be time.
Yeah.
I still do the opposite of what they do. Like if you're like really established and like really busy and like people are like I want to go look at a house, like yeah, go get a pre-approval. Especially if you're really really busy and have other clients. When you first start, and I still do it now. I'll just essentially 'cause my big thing is to get them to a house. I don't want to waste my time, but I want to build trust.
Yeah, I totally
and so
agree.
it's hard to do. So my main focus is building trust because it's not about the house at the end of the day; it's about the client. And then you'll learn, and you can ask them and Rick and everything, things to ask to kind of like just pre-qual them, right? Because at the end of the day, I mean, if they go and they're pre-approved with Rocket Mortgage, it doesn't count at all. Like I can qualify somebody better than Rocket Mortgage with just a few questions.
Right.
And so just learn how to do that. And like, oh, hey, okay, you want to go look at a $500,000 house? What do you want to keep your monthly mortgage payments at? Well, $1,000. Okay, well,
Yeah, like I used to,
you have a down payment.
I used to be able to
Like
quote
that.
somebody
Yeah.
like based on what they told me their credit score was and what term they wanted. I would tell them how much a monthly payment was per $1,000 they lended.
Right.
Yeah.
I could not tell them that in this industry. I'm sure there's a number.
I've got an app for that. If
You okay? Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
you'll learn all.
I could like literally just say it to somebody, be right, but not with the
Yeah.
hundreds of thousands of dollars.
But I agree with you, Charles, because I cut my teeth in that where when a Zillow lead would call you, you just go show them a house. You don't even know.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
was gonna say,
That's
not
annoying.
you, but
Yeah.
Gino was sitting there.
Oh.
I met her one time. She was taking a Zillow lead in one of my listings. But basically, I would just go show the house, develop a relationship, and then I'd start asking them questions. Are you pre-qualified? Blah, blah, blah. So if I trust somebody, I'm definitely going to take them out, you know, a friend, a neighbor, or somebody that I feel like I trust. I might be selling their house. Because sometimes I use it as they're like, look, we want to sell our house. We want to move, we want to downsize, or we want to upsize, or whatever, right? Okay, but we're not sure we want to do that. Let's go look at some houses and see if you want to upsize or downsize.
Okay.
Right? And
So
so
does
I still do that without pre-qualing.
Yeah, there's situations.
Situations you do that. But the thing that you always have to avoid in this business is the scammers that are calling you and they drive up in a,
Yeah.
what was that car that you talked about? The worst car?
The citation.
They drive up in a Citation and they want to see a $1.8 million home and you take them in and they split up
The 1.8 because they have.
and then you leave and the homeowner's missing a bunch of jewelry.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's the
What?
I'm sure
they
that
split
happened.
up. The husband and wife husband and wife, they split up. So
Oh, I wouldn't
you
even
have to
think
be-
about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so
I'm
gotta-
too naive
you're
to consider
constantly,
that.
you know,
Yeah.
you're really careful about all that stuff.
Yeah.
So-
Because it's your phone that got him in the lockbox.
What happens if? What if? I'm sure that has happened. What's the?
Yeah.
What do you do? I'm just curious about that kind of a story.
Well, you just watch people
What
because
if they
they
could take
drive up in
something
a
and-
crappy car and you're in a $600,000 home or whatever. And I know we're not supposed to judge, but you kind of judge a little bit because
Got to.
you're showing a home that
For the
you
term
don't know
evaluate.
what's in there.
Yeah.
And when they start splitting up,
You're
you're like, hey, let's
responsible.
go over here. Let's go look at the
The
master first. Let's go.
You gotta
would
reel
be
them back in
You would be
together.
responsible if something was
You're
stolen.
trying to. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You can also direct them when you're showing them. You can say, here's this area. Let's go check out the bathroom. Let's go check out the kitchen.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
what
you
I
wanna
do.
be like the
I go,
tour
let's
director.
start
Yeah.
upstairs or whatever,
And you
and
can
I
let them
make
know.
them come up.
Hey, just so you know, the seller's got cameras and audio in there, so, which you generally just
Yeah, so
first
don't talk.
anyway.
That's what I said. Don't talk.
But then, and then if they're like, if it's your first time meeting them and they
Oh
want
my
to go
God,
see like a
that's
really
garbage.
expensive home, that's when I would say,
That's funny,
you know,
man.
that's when I'd probably push more for like a
Pre-qual.
pre-approval or something. Something more, and then there's also that 411 app. They'll show you that where you can go and look and just look at their criminal history. It's not 100% accurate.
Because the thing on the MLS is called forewarn, and we can check
Really?
people's criminal history before
Yeah.
we show them home.
So-
Yeah, if I go
so-
alone, I always use
So
that.
the good
And if
news
you
is
feel worried,
Rob
bring a partner.
didn't have that when he hired me.
And it's you have to be careful. So like my best friend, right? So Michael, he had a charge for mortgage fraud. And I showed him like 70 houses over 6 months, and I was like, I don't even know if he's real or not. He hasn't done a pre-approval. Turns out he was real, legitimate, actually a multimillionaire, all this other stuff. But like, from what I saw and the way he was acting, it wasn't adding up.
Yeah.
So like, sometimes it's gonna take a little bit of risk.
Yeah, because
but-
rich people too, they
70?
downplay things too.
Yeah.
People that with money.
Oh yeah, no,
downplay
that's
things.
ridiculous.
70 homes?
Yeah.
Well,
My
So
record,
that sounds like a guy who you did this much work for this much pay.
Wait, his record. What was your record?
a little over 120 with.
Oh, that's just
and I had
that
to
doesn't
fire them
happen.
twice. Don't be afraid to fire people.
Like
Oh,
his clients now, like, are his friends too. Like, so he's really like put in the time and and effort, like to make the relationships with them.
After you sell my house, you got
Yeah.
I'll tell you. The
Joking,
Ferrans. This is a good story for that whole thing. Okay, so I get a call one day from my website, and I answer. He's like, "Oh, hey, my name's John Ferrone. I've got $350,000 in fucking cash, and there's this townhome. It's at $400,000. So just go up there, lowball them. $350,000, a fucking penny more. Let me know what they say." And I was like, I thought he was a scammer, right? Because he's out of state, cash buyer.
You're right.
And so I don't remember what I said, but I was cursing back at him. He was cursing at me. So I'm forewarning him, and I'm like, oh my God, he's 86. And so he mentioned something about his daughter being in town, and so get really good at this. You go and like just try to research people as quick as possible. I found his daughter; she was a real person. So then I walked it back a little bit. I was like, "Listen, that's not the way things work. Like, we need proof of funds. Like, where's your cash at?" He's like, "Oh, it's in 3 different accounts. I would never consolidate it. Like, I'm not going to consolidate them. I'm just not going to do that." But I learned enough, and I was like, all right, this is probably just an older guy. We calmed down. We talked a little bit more, and then I went all the way up to go look at a house to send him a video text. And halfway through the drive, I was like, "What am I doing?" And I almost turned around. But I went through with it to send him a video text, and then a couple days later, I met his daughter. Anyway, long story short, that turned into a deal, and now I might be listing his daughter's $1.7 million house.
Right.
In 2 years. Yeah.
So
I can tell you that from lending too. That don't ever turn away the $50,000 condo because you have no idea what that's going to lead to.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's
You
right.
gotta kiss a lot of toads, right?
That's right.
Because that's what the name of the game is too, is turning one transaction into 3 or 4 or however
Right,
much you can do.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, no one's
You're gonna say
gonna
something?
I had a question because I ran into this a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
You mentioned the Ring cameras and the seller being able to hear you.
Yeah.
And so my clients got to a house before I did, and they were sitting on the front porch, and they're like, this is a piece of shit.
Yeah, right.
And so the lady came home, the owner came home as my clients were leaving, and I was getting in my truck, and she's like, "Hey, can I talk to you?" And I was like, "Oh shit." And she's like, "I heard you guys on the Ring, and there's all these things wrong with my, like, they were pointing out all these things with my house. I hate my realtor. I'm probably gonna fire her." And I was like, "Oh what? I'm not allowed to say anything." am I?"
Well, she approached you.
She did.
Yeah.
I just took the test. You are allowed to talk to her.
I came at it with I answered a whole bunch of mortgage questions. I said, "Well, your age." I said, "I have a mortgage program. I can do this, so you can move to Florida." I didn't say anything about real estate, but I mean,
Are you getting a listen?
I don't know. I gotta follow up.
Here's what you tell her. So just so you
It's
don't,
a piece of crap. I don't really want it, but
since you don't want to risk the crossing the sign thing, just give her my number.
I need to learn
But I guess,
about
I mean, it's
where
like I got investors that'll come in and pay cash for this, and
Yeah.
you can get on your way to Florida. And
Cameras are horrible.
That is a big
I mean, that's-
point, like what Dave was saying. Like, tell your people there's cameras.
Oh, I
in
tell them,
these
if there's
things.
cameras,
Like,
the sellers, if they're not listening, they will be listening. Just assume that they're watching you.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I had a listing in Briargate, and it really needed a lot of work. But they worked their butt off to try to make it better. But somebody that has a house that needs a lot of work, their better is below our average still, right? Because they were in the bottom of the barrel. And so, but they had cameras everywhere. And every single feedback and stuff was like, this house needs too much work, this house needs too much work. But my seller was calling going, "Bro, these motherfuckers are real." I'm so upset because they would badmouth the homeowner, and they're sitting there up the street watching the cameras. They get so angry at these people that were just badmouthing their home. They finally said, "Rob, take it off the market. We're not selling our house." I was gladly.
Well, then the danger is, oh my God,
Yeah, right.
this kitchen is horrible. Who would do these? Well, we're going to get new cabinets anyway, but these suck. And then
They literally say that kind of
and
stuff.
then they say that stuff, and they say, "Well, let's write an offer. This we can fix everything."
Yeah.
But the sellers are all like,
How dare
they
you?
already hate the buyer.
Yeah, they're
They
offended.
say, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything.
Do
at
you?
all.
Is it your experience that typically buyers and sellers have an instinctual adversarial approach to each other from the beginning?
It depends on the agent.
Yeah, it depends.
If you're in New Jersey, it is.
I don't know if like you're like generally speaking, they always start as if they are against
So
you.
what happens is,
Not always.
It's always the agent.
It's the agents.
it's
like,
always
this
the
is
agent.
what they're saying to me, and then they're like, "Oh,
My
that's-
people
Yeah, they set the tone.
hate your buyers, and I'm late for closing. I'm going, oh shit, they're gonna blow up the deal before I get there. And I get there and they're exchanging recipes, right?
Yeah, but
It's
I've
all
closed in
agents.
separate rooms multiple times.
Oh, me too.
That never
Because they
happened.
get angry at the agent, and they've never even met each other. It's just because if you're a seller and you had to see the whites of the eyes of the buyer, and you guys had to come together and negotiate, you guys aren't going to say things that you say to the agent.
Right.
You say to the agent and go, you tell them that I'm
Yeah.
not taking a dime less than this, and I
Like
don't
the keyboard
care about
warriors.
I am
their
not
Jeep that needs
replacing
to
the
fit
glass
in
in
the
the
garage.
bedroom.
Exactly,
I'll blow the
right?
deal up.
And so then I'm going, okay, how do I present that they don't care about the garage is small, and because the buyers have their reasons why they're lowballing, and then the sellers have their reasons why. So you're trying to come together, and then you're talking to the agent, and I try to be as calm and collected as possible with the other agent, but then the other agent is emotional.
Yeah.
For like they should be doing business too, and just doing logic and business. But they're getting emotional because they showed 120 houses, and they really
And they have
want
a
this
stake
to
in
go
those.
through.
God.
So then they get after me, and then we start, and then all of a sudden everybody hates each other. We have to close in different rooms, and
Yeah.
it's horrible.
I don't know if I get this.
That actually is not bad. I don't mind closing
I'll let you
different
screen
rooms.
it, but this is what I have one agent saved as. I wouldn't read it out
Weapons
loud.
grade, weapons grade autism, face fucking the stupid tree. That's the agent's name in his phone.
You know what? We need to hang out more.
Is that one or two?
You're gonna like this job.
I had
It's super difficult.
multiple-
And the sellers met them a couple times, like the sweetest, nicest people. Oh, do you guys want coffee? And the agent was just a complete, almost ruined the whole deal.
So if there's anything I can do, it's just be easy to work with.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
just be easy to work
I
with.
love it. Try and help.
Right?
Help.
Honest.
I tell my clients
Honesty's
that
really important.
Oh,
I
yeah.
am their advocate, and I will fight to my dying breath for them. But the goal here is both parties walk out of the closing room as winners.
Yes, exactly.
And that's,
This isn't
and
court.
that's business 101.
We're
You
a
win.
loser and a winner.
Yes.
This is both winners. But if they're trying to pull shenanigans,
That's right.
that we'll crush them.
100%.
Right, and if I'm getting 51%, I'm going to, but
Yeah.
it's not.
Right, yeah.
Were you at Realtek the other day?
No, I didn't go.
I think it was land title. They were saying a trend right now is that, are you guys seeing this? But they're like bailing on closing the day of or
We've
day
seen it.
before.
Why?
Yes.
Just
Why are they
like
doing
keep
that?
my earnest money. I don't want to do this anymore.
Why?
I'm out.
We haven't had
Wow.
that with the earnest ones, but we've had like
Yeah,
things going
knock
under
on wood.
contract, and within 2 days,
Back
like
out.
the buyer
Yeah.
gets cold feet and backs out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I
Probably
see
because
that.
I saw
It's
another house.
And
A
Right.
real estate
Right.
agent
Right.
called
Oh,
me
this
this
one's
morning
better.
and asked if I'm
Or
hearing.
the seller says, how much
Like-
earnest money are you gonna lose?
This is it right here.
What about
they
show-
found another house?
What about showings? Are you getting showings and stuff right now, or?
Not a lot. The best homes,
It's slower than like a month ago.
yeah.
Did you guys? I pulled data a couple days ago, and usually what happens is every summer the inventory goes down. And I look at everything in PPAR. So we went from I don't know like 4,300, and we should have been down in like the high threes right now, around 4, and now we're actually up to 5,000, like 4,200 of which are single.
Yeah.
But like the inventory is going up in May, which is weird because it always goes down. And I think it's just you know, like it sent an explanation, pretty much saying there's like all the volatility in the markets going on right now with tariffs and then fear of recession and like so there's something in the air right now and everyone's just kind of like holding off.
A lot of
But it was
forces
also
right now.
Mother's Day,
pollen.
Memorial
Yeah.
Day,
Yeah.
rain,
Yeah.
graduation time,
Yeah.
end of school. May just sucks all the time. Doesn't it suck for you? May always sucks for me.
It's all the pollen for me.
Oh, the pollen too.
Yeah.
But
Remember my
That
eyes?
almost took you out, man.
Remember my eye?
Well, yeah, I had for the last 3 weeks, my eye was blood red
Oh.
because I was going like this, and I gave myself a knuckle sandwich, and I popped all the blood.
I
vessels.
think too that the number of
You
listings
don't know your own
Wow.
strength.
is
I
higher,
poked myself in the eye.
but it's not. To me, that's so I think there's still more. There's more listings because they're on the market longer. I mean, aren't you seeing that?
Yes.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
after
exactly
6
right.
months.
Oh, is the average
That's why
listing
our-
increasing?
our
You can pull
inventory's
that
high
up.
right
Sure.
now.
Yeah.
But all the other metrics are really strong. So the inventory went way up, but then the days on market fell to 43 because they were at like 60 last
Okay.
month.
Okay.
So now they're down to 43. The sale to original list price is up to like 99.2. And all the other metrics you look at still
I
show
wish
that
they
it's
had
strong.
a
There's a lot of
thermometric
people
sale
from the
to
last 2
original
years
list.
that have been on the
That's
fence are
the key
finally
metric.
done. You know, there's like,
Yeah.
you have to
Yeah, we
move
gotta
this
do
2
something to
years.
Sell it for
Well,
full price.
but also
but
people have really
you
good
dropped
interest rates from like
$100,000
2 or
in
3
6
years
months.
ago.
Yes.
And right now, like I have a
Yeah.
7% on my mortgage I bought last year, so that's a big disparity. If interest rates do go down, all the people with 7%
They're gonna.
are going to either refi or they're going. I
Second
mean,
half of the year is gonna be big.
Yeah, or they're gonna sell and.
or they're
move
going
up.
to sell and get something bigger with a 3% interest rate, right?
Right.
So
yeah.
like I feel like, I mean, I don't know, what do I know? I just think that if rates go down, there's going to be a bigger supply.
But the problem is people
But you
think
can't
that
project
rates are gonna go back to a 3, and that's just
Yeah.
not.
That's not
It'll
gonna happen.
never go back.
Let's hope
Okay.
you're right.
You know,
They'll never
Even if
do
it
that.
goes
They'll
that
think
far.
that.
But yeah, right.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, and that is a big thing in the industry right now. We call it that they're handcuffed,
The
the
golden
golden handcuffs right now,
Yep.
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
And a lot of people are in those 2s and 3s, and they will not refi out
They
of
can't
those.
upsize or
Yeah, they will
downsize,
not.
so they're staying
They
put.
will
Yeah.
Or
stay
they're,
put.
or they're redoing their houses instead of.
Mhm.
But the beauty is, in 5 years, they're gonna go. Their incomes go up, everything goes up, inflation goes up. They're gonna go, man. Remember when I was worried about my 7% rate?
Yeah.
You know,
Well, the
I
beauty is in
remember-
5 years, the people that are ready to move have a 7.2
Right.
or a 7 1/4 or 6 3/4 rate.
Yeah.
Because they bought now.
Yeah.
The
Well,
people
I was
that
gonna
bought
say
a 3
something
will
real
never
quick.
build it.
New agents don't know any different. You watch. Just go out and sell. Don't listen to any of the stats. I'm just telling you. Don't
That's
worry
right.
about it.
Yeah.
Don't think,
Don't
oh my
worry about
God,
what it
like,
was.
who cares? I've got agents right now that are closing 8 deals a month.
That's right.
Not, and they're solo agents and they're newer.
Control what you can
So
control.
just worry about, do what you do your daily
Yeah, you
activities.
don't let all this negative
Yeah, sorry.
round
Oh
table.
yeah. Oh yeah.
We have a lot of negative stuff, but it's just we're talking about the industry and all the changes and
Yeah.
everything, but we're still killing it.
That's what I want to do. I just want to kill it. I just want to get in front of
If
people.
we just tell each other all day, "Hey, I'm killing it. Are you killing it? Yeah, I'm killing it. We're all killing it." It's like, let's talk about how to overcome a lot of hurdles.
Yeah.
That's how we work out.
Those objections.
Yeah.
Because that's what you're fighting right now. You're coming from an industry where it was make them fall in love with the car and then get them financed, and that's just not how we're doing. That's not how real estate works,
Yeah.
right? So
Well, you have to make them fall in love with you.
Yeah, well, that,
Right.
that I'm okay
That's
at.
exactly
So
right.
you're
I'm okay
overcoming
at that.
that objection. You're overcoming that consumer psychology, and then there's the whole interest rate fight. Everyone's going to talk about the interest rate,
Yeah.
and let an interest rate hold them back from purchasing. When in all actuality, just help people weigh out pros and cons. That's all you're doing.
Because really, it's relationship. I mean, even a autistic realtor Facebook has clients. That's unbelievable.
Okay. Yeah, if that guy can sell a home, I can sell a home.
Living.
There's people out there for everybody.
Yeah.
Your people are everywhere.
I didn't mean to put a negative because the reason that I bring that up is I address the negative things and I explain it. So with that, I should have gone into more detail, but I like to show the 10-year data, and no matter what, especially when people say, "Oh, the market's going to crash, it's not doing well, the market's slow." I'm like, okay, well, if you would have bought a house in 2008 or 2009 and held on to it, would you be good right now? Yeah. So it's always, there's going to be ups and downs and things like that. It's going to
Totally.
be slow and
Yeah.
fast, but
It
at the end of
always
the day, when
trends
you look
up,
at
though.
house appreciation, it's probably one of the most stable things, if not.
Yeah,
Almost.
exactly.
4%, about 4%.
4%
And the
growth
best
every
time-
year.
Yeah.
And they'll ask you, is it a good time to buy? If they can afford the payment, it's a good time to buy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like using Jason's and Rick's money to make money.
Yes.
You gotta give me 7%? Oh yeah!
Right.
I get to get $500,000 growing at 4% with your money. That's beautiful.
Yeah,
Ah,
it's a no-brainer.
That's how I look at it.
That's right. And it's tax deductible.
That's right. Anything else before we wrap up?
Just don't give up on your people. People are weird, man, and I've had a client ghost me for 2 weeks, and then I get an email saying they signed the agreement, and I send them a text message. After a while of following up professionally so many times, I just send is anyone home? Is anyone there?
Yep.
Hello.
Question mark.
Send a gift with looking. Are you on?
And it feels unprofessional, right? But they actually responded to it, and then they booked a meeting, and we had our talk on last Sunday, and kind of gently told them, pow pow, do not ghost me, because that scares me. When we are not under contract, and when we go under contract, are you going to ghost me then?
Yeah.
So I just was gentle about resetting that expectation, but I didn't lose them, and we still have a great relationship, and they trust me to handle this moving forward, and we are moving forward. They're the horde. That's Mark. They're going to be 2 deals in one. And had I been anybody else who just wrote them off or got mad at them or whatever, I wouldn't be.
Because they're really
or
rich
stopped
them all.
You would have stopped following up.
They're gonna sell it
I
by.
think I need to get my
So there's-
database in order.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I think the biggest thing to understand is people don't buy houses at the same rate that they buy cars and other things.
Yeah.
The process for buying a house could take somebody a year, for them to get all their ducks in a row to figure it out.
Right, it's not a win.
Something wild for you guys. Maybe if we didn't get a customer in the store in 5 days, we could assume that they bought a car from somebody else.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, yeah,
what-
not us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Unreal
for
estate
it's like, wow,
Scott
they're probably gone. They decided
Yeah.
not to. It's like, oh yeah, well we had to go and see my aunt was sick, and it's not always. It's for us. It's the top of mind every day, but even for somebody in the market, it's not the end all goal.
Yeah,
of the
their
day.
lease ends in October.
What's the
Yeah,
When are they
average?
gonna start?
Or they have a death in the family, and that's what they said. They're like, we
Yeah,
have a death
right.
in the family. I said,
What Scott said,
Okay.
it's slow moving, and you'll have clients that are ready to go in 3 days. I've had some that take 2 years pretty easily.
Okay.
But it
Yeah.
pays off. Like I have one, I showed her somehow, it was a referral from Matt's house. And so went and showed her some houses. She makes a lot of money, but she has a 500 credit score. So now she has a job, she's working weekends, fixing everything, and then, I don't know, in 6 months to a year.
She'll be ready to buy.
But
Yeah.
I talk to her all the time, it's just about the relationship.
Yeah,
You
just
want
selling
to
a car, you only
them
make
as much as
500 bucks.
possible, because-